everyone, and welcome back to the second session of News from the Real World podcast. I'm Atitra.
I'm Abby.
Andrew.
So we're gonna start our first article in this section with finance students in business.
So fine arts students get lessons in business. So the basic idea here is that the Juilliard School, the Berklee College of Music in Boston, and the San Francisco Conservatory of Music are having their students take business classes. I think the best thing about this article is pointing out that artists can't think about their art alone anymore. They're trying to enforce the idea that artists are aware of their business, aware of how things are being run, of why they make the choices they make for things like marketing or in terms of like a theater job, putting stuff on the internet instead of just doing theater on the stage and things like that. That there's a lot of levels to that, I think, but I think that's the key part of pointing that out is having more information about business as a whole, like the idea of running a business and the choices involved in that.
Well, I think the one thing the Wall Street Journal points out aptly is that artists these days tend to need to be entrepreneurs as well, and maybe that's not all that different. Maybe we just think about it a little bit differently now in this age of entrepreneurship, where it seems like everybody can be an entrepreneur with Kickstarter campaigns and with grassroots fundraising that we're all so familiar with now. Whereas artists used to live much more off of patrons and off of individual wealthy people rather than the rest of us.
It makes you way more viable to be hired and way more able to be a part of the process and the decisions that are being made on your behalf. If you are aware of what's going on. I mean, you can look at artists like Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. They're the first artists to have a song at the top of the charts having not been signed to a record label.
Right.
Things like that, because they were aware of the business process, so they decided to do it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And this is what's been a problem for forever. Like the artists, especially when you're an artist, you kind of I just focus on what I'm doing. I don't actually care about the business part. I mean, it's good.
But you gotta eat.
Yeah,
Right.
That's the thing. That's the point. You're kind of I'm not gonna care
Can't
about
eat
business. Yeah, and you can't. You
Art
need
is
to
not
start to
edible all the
focus
time.
and start to realize what is going on. Especially nowadays,
Yeah. It's interesting. My exit interview with the job I worked at this summer, I asked them, what's the one thing that when I come back and interview in 9 months, you want to see that I've done over the past year? And the first thing that they said was take a business class.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just because I'm not a business-minded person. They were just, finding my weakness. But I think actually, in general, that's what employers more and more are looking for, especially in the commercial world that some of us are planning to go into.
Well, it's interesting too if you think about making choices while you're at a job where you have to purchase things. They want to know that you're going to spend their money wisely as well.
Well, and every project works on a budget. Whether you know it or not, it's working on a budget. Okay,
Cool.
Next, Atitra.
We're moving to the Spooky Puppets. So, Spooky Handmade Puppets bring a short horror film to life. And basically this is, there's a video, a movie trailer of a movie called The Meal at Calder's End, which is a horror movie that they use the puppet to film instead of people, and then make it turn out to be kind of this spooky, creepy, but very beautiful and very kind of fascinating. I don't want to use the word interesting, but it's and it's so real, and it's kind of I'm so interested in the behind process of especially when I'm trying thinking about how much work they had to put on in order to film each kind of minute of it.
Well, my understanding from reading the article is that these puppets are based on bunraku puppets, which is a very long-standing tradition in Japan for puppets about that. That's all.
About 2 feet.
Right, that are operated by 3 people, and what they've done in this movie, which is kind of cool, is they've used traditional bunraku style puppets with 3 puppeteers that are manipulating it, that have then been, the only CG that's involved with the making of this is scrubbing those people out of the shot. But I have to say, looking at this, I didn't find it very spooky at all, to be honest, and I cannot believe that none of the commenters on this article noticed that the guy who made this, Kevin McTurk, who is a very talented, obviously, artist, one of his main credits is Team America. Come on, nobody mentioned Team America.
But really?
It's the first second I saw that puppet, I was like, oh my god, that looks just like the Team America puppets. And turns out, Kevin McTurk
You
is
don't even mention it in the article.
No,
It's
that's
Batman
not
No, you have to
Returns,
do-
that's
yeah.
the part.
you have to do a little digging. And
Oh
for
god, okay.
me, for me, that was not knowing that. It doesn't detract from the art for me, but at the same time, it's a little bit hard to compare this type of work to traditional Bunraku work, where literally the Bunraku artists spend their entire lives doing nothing other than that. Like it's a true mastery, which to me is a little bit hard to reconcile with something of this. That's just my opinion, and
okay.
not to detract from what this is, but it's not Bunraku.
I don't actually find this very creepy at all.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, not so much that. I like puppets.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're scary. And so, like, to me, it wasn't creepier because they were puppets.
Right.
Like, it says, like, puppets are the creepiest things around. It's like, no, they're not. They're not even real, you know?
I mean, I'm happy that people are doing this. I'm happy that Bunraku is finding some way to relate to a Western audience. We'll see. I mean, I'll watch the movie when it comes out.
I definitely would.
Yeah.
Okay, so last article for this session, we're going to talk about Lidditz, Pennsylvania, where I spent the summer. Working for a company called Tape Towers, who's there. Sorry, my computer is freaking out. This article was in the Wall Street Journal concerning all the development that's going on in the entertainment industry in Lidditz currently. A consortium of business interests there, notably Tate Towers, Clare Brothers, which is a sound company, and Atomic, which is another smaller scenery company, started an LLC to build what they claim to be the world's largest independent rehearsal space for touring music events. And their hope is that this will bring even more entertainment business to the Lidditz area, which is weird, right? Because it's like this tiny little town with 9,000 people in eastern PA.
And then suddenly you have like a giant
And suddenly you have not only this giant rehearsal space, but a planned hotel, a lot of other businesses that would be funneled into this, into supporting the entertainment industry there. I don't know. Right now, Lidditz, before this venture, I would say Lidditz number one export is tourism, right? People go there to spend a day in Amish country or whatever. And now they've got this a little bit of an eyesore in the middle of their community, kind of bringing a whole different business world aspect to their
I was kind of
community.
wondering if there's like the way that they're like taking a risk and trying to create more like awareness or like maybe like to create something that is huge, so they can bring like more and more like people to like I don't know.
I think
like,
that was the idea, but I think it's really unfortunate for the Amish community. I think because then nobody's gonna come for what they have to offer. Nobody's gonna come to see the Amish country, or if they do, they're gonna have to deal like the people coming have two different agendas, and that one's gonna take away from the other, gonna take away from the other. There's like not a happy middle ground for that, because you're either going for this huge site and it's like, oh, but we have to be an Amish country.
I don't think any.
Amish village right here.
I didn't mean to say I think people are gonna come as tourists to see what they're doing at all. No, just that the business atmosphere of Lidditz is definitely going to have to change because of this introduction. It seems to me. People are going to be having just different types of jobs. They're going to be. It changes the economy in a way that I think that people aren't really understanding quite yet.
I see. Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see. I also am not 100% sold on the idea that people are gonna want to come and rehearse in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. Like, if I'm Beyonce, just just as a hypothetical, I don't know if I'm going to be all that interested in spending 2 weeks in Lidditz, PA to rehearse my show when I could do it in New York, which she did this summer. Actually, Tate had to go to great lengths to set up a rehearsal space for her in a space that was not nearly suited to it, but that's where they wanted to be. And sure, this would be great for the production managers and the producers of those shows. I don't know. The artists seem to drive the boat a lot, though, and
right.
Yeah, right.
again, like,
Well, also it's about where their families are, and it's about where things
and
like that.
you're about to go on tour for 9 months already,
Of course,
and you
want
wanted me to
stay
spend
close
another
home.
2 weeks at another space. I don't know. That's an issue that I'm not sure is going to play out all that well. We'll see.
Well, we'll see.
So good luck with that, and
We will be back for the last section of News from the Real World podcast. Stay tuned.
thanks for watching.